like scary movies. I suck at them. What's going on? Welcome back to the Classic The Cinematic Movie Podcast that takes you back to the iconic films of 20 years ago. I am Jay Alonzo. Before we get into this, I got to shout out my co-host, Kay Williams, who is currently at home, feeling a bit ill. So he'll be back with us next week. So, Kay, we're thinking about you. All right, get well soon, my brother. And we'll see you next week. In the meantime, BTTC has been fortunate enough to have our first guest, damn it, FSW champ, Jace Battle.
Hello, thank you, arigato. That's a very nice introduction. I have to say real quick, though, that I'm not FSW champion. I am FSW No Limits champion. That means I have no limits, little to none, yes.
No limits.
Yes, thank you, arigato.
Now, was this championship recently achieved?
Yes, actually, I just won it last month. I defeated someone who has become a bit of thorn in my side. His name is Cutthroat Cody. We had a very back and forth battle, but in the end, it was me who overcame him, and I defeated him. Yes, thank you. Arigato.
Where exactly are you from, Jace Battle?
Oh, yes, I get this a lot. I am from feudal East Vegas.
Yeah, I grew up. I grew up on the north part of Vegas. And I spent some time, on the east side of Las Vegas. Not a lot of time, but I don't believe I've actually seen you on that side of town. Yes.
The north side is very feudal, but east side is even more so feudal. Lots of ninja activity there. It was very rough. I grew up there, and it molded me into the No Limits competitor that I am today. Yes, thank you, arigato.
The next match, yes. Who can we expect Jace Battle to defeat next?
I have not been made aware of who my opponent is next, but I do have a couple of shows coming up where I will be defeating them because I am No Limits champion, and I am the grandfather of strong style. I am the man with superior fighting spirit. I am, check this out, the Japanese jump man. I am the strong style savage. I am the big black man. I am the battle brains. I am Jace Battle. I will be defeating them. You can catch me in the new year coming up, January 7th. I have a show at 6035 Harrison Drive. That's the FSW Arena. We will have a show there. And then the next week, January 14th, we will be having our TV tapings. And then January 28th, we have our big show, New Year's Resolution. It's going to be at the Silverton Casino. Yes. And no doubtedly, I will be dispensing lots of that fighting spirit.
Jace Battle, ladies and gentlemen. I fucking love the accent, I gotta tell you.
Yes, it's very natural. Thank you, arigato.
Before we wrap up Jace Battle, is there anything else you want to say?
I just want to say that I really enjoy movie. In fact, movies have been helping me with perfecting my English accent. Yes,
what's the last movie you seen?
Last movie I saw was a Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Very harrowing tale of a ragtag group of individuals trying to fight for their right to blow up Death Star. Yes, maybe. I really enjoyed it. It was really good. It was very, very good, actually. Yes.
I like your fire. You have great fire within you.
Yes, I have very, very much fire in my belly. Yes, maybe.
I love doing this. I love doing this show because you never know who I'm gonna get, and this dude is fucking awesome, man. I've known this guy, oh my God, what's it been, 10, 11 years? Yeah.
Probably something like that, yes.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think so.
Okay.
Maybe a little longer, I'm not sure. Probably a little longer, maybe.
But I have watched him emerge from one of the coolest guys ever to the FSW No Limits Champion, and even going to an actual show has been just nothing short of just mind-blowing. So I watched him evolve to who he is today. So I'm going to ask you questions to you, sir.
Yes.
Tell me about how difficult it was to get to that point.
I had started training in 2011 with a place called Adrenaline Unleashed. It's closed down a couple years ago, but first starting, it was definitely something I was not used to. I hadn't really been in any sort of sports or anything in school, and was very not active physically. So going from no physical activity and actually
to all the
activity of physicality was a little bit insane. It was very tough. It was rough. You're going in there and you're basically training your body to do things that your body doesn't want to do.
Right.
It's weird. It's reprogramming your brain to do some crazy stuff. The more you stick with it, the more your body gets to it, and it just starts to become natural. And I had always kind of had like this affinity for it. It was just kind of getting past the first couple of weeks or months of getting my body to do things like getting used to falling on the ground. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Why would we do that? It's basically to train yourself. Like, if you get hit, you're gonna fall. So you want to be able to make sure that you fall a good enough way, if it makes any sort of sense, to protect yourself. That way you can get back up and continue fighting. So
okay, so I remember when I saw your first match. Same spot, right?
Yep, same spot.
Okay, so it was hot as shit in there. It was so damn hot.
It's still hot.
It's still hot?
It's still on.
All that damn money that comes through there.
I don't know how much exactly comes through there, but just keep chugging along.
We definitely know it doesn't go towards any kind of type of air conditioning.
No.
I got you. But I remember seeing it, and like I said, I've known you since the teen years practically, so watching you flip from the ring and hit that damn... hit it so hard too. I felt like, I was your mom, like, oh my God, is he okay? Jace!
Yeah, I was thinking to myself, like, man, what am I doing with my life? This is terrible.
But, is this a cry for help? Do you really want to do this?
Maybe not. Maybe I'm just crazy.
But damn, man, it's been so cool watching you do what you do and keep the same level of confidence and excitement involved in it. But as long as I've known you, you've always talked wrestling. So it's mind-blowing to see you actually carried out what you set out to do, which is kudos to you, man.
Thank you. It's definitely been a struggle. There have been times where that confidence wasn't so high, but it's a hustle. It's one of those things where you really have to dig deep and you have to ask yourself, is this something that I really want to do? And once you decide that it is, then you have to kind of be like, all right, this is what I'm going to be doing. This is what I need to do in order to make this, a success. And this year has been pretty plentiful in the success category. So, I'm just thankful. It is cool to kind of look back on those days and see myself, just starting to getting to where I'm at now, and to just know that I have so much more ground to cover is pretty excellent. So it's nice. It's really nice. It's a very cool feeling.
Tell me, how does it feel when you're out of town wrestling in different places and people are now recognizing you as the man himself, Jace Battle?
It is absolutely insane. It's one of those things where you like, years back, you're looking at your idols, and then you listen to interviews where they're kind of saying the same thing, how they're taken aback and they would never imagine themselves. It's exactly like that. You think that stuff is corny, but once you're in that situation, you're like, wow, I see what it means. Like, I go to a place that you're a relative unknown and then make such an impact that people care. Mm-hmm. Like, as soon as like your music hits, they go crazy. Like, as soon as you step out there, they're like, oh yeah, Jace, that guy. Like, it's kind of crazy. It's insane because you take it for granted when you're here at home because, like, you're already established and people, they know you. And so, of course, they're going to, have a certain reaction to you. But to, like, go out there in front of strangers and then make fans out of them, it's indescribable. It really is. And just the success that I've tasted this year, it makes me want to continue on further. I've gotten to some pretty good places, some high places, and I've been blessed with the opportunity to work with some of the most professional companies that I've had the pleasure of working with. So now it's kind of like, all right, where do I go from here? And the answer is up. I just keep going up.
Dope. Okay, so last question before we get into the show.
Yes.
Who's playing Jace Battle in the biopic?
Good.
And what's the biopic called?
Oh, good question. I do believe that maybe Idris Elba or maybe Kenan Thompson. Maybe one of those two are playing Jace Battle. And I want to say that the Jace Battle biopic probably would be called Big Black Mane, the Jace Battle story.
Mayne?
Mang. The G is silent.
So Idris Elba or Kenan Thompson?
Yes, maybe.
Who's ever available?
Who's ever available?
Gotcha.
Maybe Kenan, but I don't know. Maybe.
I think out of the two, Kenan is definitely more available. I'm just saying.
Oh, he's been on Saturday Night Live for a very long time, so maybe. I don't know. He might not be available. Who knows? Maybe as Idris. Who knows? We'll see.
Right.
We'll see when it comes to it. Call my people. Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, my accent came back. Let me get back to English.
All right, so you are familiar with the show. All right.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so we're going to get into 2-minute drill. For our first-time listeners, 2-minute drill is a segment of the show where we have made sure that myself and Kay, and in some access, our guest co-host, and today is my man Jace Battle, we have to watch the show, watch the movie, and make sure that we've seen the movie, so we ask each other questions that either we know off top or we're not going to know at all. So I'm going to kick off 2-minute drill for you now. What time was the curfew in Woodsboro?
I want to say, was it 9? Was it 9 p.m.? It was either 6 p.m. or 9 p.m.
Choose either or.
I'm going to say 9 p.m.
Correct?
Oh, yes. Okay, cool. Great. Excellent. All right. Yes. It was 9, yeah.
It was 9.
Okay, cool. 6 seems early.
Okay. You know what? I'm about to just give you all the questions. Fuck it.
Okay.
It's my show. I can do that.
Oh, yes.
Name Randy's 3 rules to survive a horror movie.
Be a virgin. No drinking, no drugs. Don't say, drinking and drugs is the same. Mm-hmm. The third one is don't say, I'll be back.
I'll be right back. That is correct.
Yes.
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 Who played Principal? Oh, God.
Hey. Stephans himself. Henry Winkler, yes.
Excluding Drew Barrymore's character in the beginning, who's the first to die?
Her boyfriend, Steve.
Good job.
Yes. Yes. Like, wait a minute.
Okay, so we got 20 seconds.
Yes.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how hard was it to watch this movie and not think about Scary Movie 1?
It's 10. It was very hard. I just thought about the whole Scary Movie the whole time.
The entire time. Well, that's 2-minute drill. That's 2-minute drill. Since I asked you all the damn questions, you won.
Yes.
So. Okay.
Do I get the gold trophy?
I wish you could, but the thing is, I wonder how many people out there can actually watch Scream and not think Scary Movie 1. Oh my God. Okay, so let's get into it.
Okay.
Scream original release date, December 20th, 1996. Shared opening weekend with One Fine Day, My Fellow Americans, Ghost in Mississippi, and last week's movie Beavis and Butthead Do America. Worldwide gross of $173 million on a budget of $14 million.
Ooh,
currently sitting at 79% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I think that's fair.
So tell me the first time you saw Scream.
I believe the first time I saw Scream wasn't in theaters. I wanted to watch it in theaters, but for whatever reason I didn't get to watch it in theaters, and I waited until I think it came out to the video store, and I rented it from Blockbuster. Rest in peace, Blockbuster.
Rest in peace, Hollywood Video.
Oh, definitely Hollywood Video.
Good old mom, pa video shops.
But I think whenever it was released on the videos, when I originally saw it, and I think I liked it when I first saw it. I'm a big horror. I like horror movies. So
yeah, I remember. We've seen Rob Zombie's Halloween together.
Did we?
We did. I think we've seen 1 and 2 actually.
No, not 2.
Not 2?
Nah, because I went and saw 2 with an ex of mine, and I remember leaving like 30 minutes into it because I was not digging it at all. It's the only movie I've ever walked out of.
No, that's not true. We didn't we walk out of Meet the Spartans? We saw that.
We
through.
finished that.
We saw that.
We sat and watched that whole thing because we're idiots.
Because we're just fucking stupid. What about number 23?
We finished that.
We finished that too.
We finished that too.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. Gluttons for pain.
Well, that just goes to show my dedication to this movie shit. Because I've sat through some bullshit.
Oh yeah.
All right, so let's kick off real talk. The movie opens, and we get the first phone call, and it's obviously Drew Barrymore, the killer, who sounds like just some rapey dude down the street, wants to, get to know this chick. I love that scene because you kind of don't know what you're getting yourself into. You just know that when he's calling, something's getting ready to happen, especially if you hadn't seen the trailer prior to. When she's on the phone, she hangs up. Of course, he calls back. She answers the phone, gives him the least bit conversation, and then hangs up again. The third time he calls back, why the fuck have you called the police yet?
I don't know. I really don't know why she went that long, but it made for a brilliant opening. I want to say that opening scene, it sets the tone of the movie. It really does. Like you were saying, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. Mm. I like cold openings. It wasn't too cold because there was a title right before it. Should have waited after, I think. I think that's what they did with the sequels.
I also love that Drew Barrymore is like the main screamer on the Scream poster. However, she dies in the very beginning.
Yes, exactly. It's probably taken for granted now, but like back in that, that time period, like that happening, it was absolutely insane. It's like, all right, this movie starring Drew Barrymore. She's all on the posters and everything. She's probably gonna be a final girl. Nope, she's dead
before the movie really comes
before
on.
The movie, and I love it because they tease moments of where she's gonna get saved. Like, she gets stabbed, but it's kind of like a shoulder thing or whatever. Usually people get shot or stabbed in the shoulder and they're fine.
They'll make it through.
And so she knocks them out or whatever, and then her parents are coming and they're going through the front door and she's trying to get to them, and then she's trying to say mom, but her voice is leaving her. And
let me ask you this though: did you realize before we get to that part? Did you realize that by the time we notice that Steve is outside, the killer says, "Turn on the patio lights," and it very seldomly again. You never caught that?
No.
Watch it again. I kept listening. I remember when I first saw the movie, I was like, "Did he say?" He says again, right? I swear to God. And then I think I watched it Monday night, and when that part comes up, he goes, "How do you know his name?" "Turn on the patio lights." Doom again.
Had she turned the lights on before?
I think she had just turned it off, and then obviously he's watching her, so turn on the patio lights again. Doom again. Doom. So he's asking her these questions that she's kind of getting, but she gets duped by the Jason question.
Yep. And you know what? It was kind of her fault because she didn't let him finish. He was just like, name the killer in the Friday the 13th. He's like, Jason. Like, if she would, I'm pretty sure being stressed and being in that stressful situation, she was probably going to say Jason anyways. But you could tell he got cut off. So it's kind of her fault,
But poor Steve.
Yeah, rest in peace, Steve.
He's out.
And very fast too. Like, it was he's dead, and then next thing you know, guts are coming out. Like, that was pretty quick.
I kind of want to know what type of machinery did he use to get that type of action out of Steve so quickly? Because when he gets to gutting through Steve, I thought he had just a knife. So is he like stuck it in a circular motion and kind of like carved out Steve like a pumpkin?
I don't know. I don't think the human anatomy is. I think it's pretty tough. I don't think you could. And that the 4 seconds it took for his guts to be spelled out like that. It seemed like there needed to be more, but I don't know. I've never killed anyone, so.
Yeah, I know, right?
Step in the ring.
Shots fired.
No, I'm
Shade. Hashtag Jace Battle, bitch. So the parents come home. They can hear her on the phone screaming. Oh, correction, not screaming at all. Dying.
Dying,
at this point, yeah. And I'm telling you, the one part when he comes in, he's about to stab her for that last time, and then it cuts to her mom on the phone. I swear, I'm like, this is the Carmen Electra scene. He's going to stab her in the tit.
And pull out his implant.
He's going to stab her in the tit, I'm telling you. And so then we get to the next scene where...
well, actually, before you go to the next scene...
What's up?
Like I was saying before, like, the thing that I think was pretty shocking, probably back in that day, was that it just seemed like she was gonna probably pull through because the parents were there, and they kind of prolonged her getting stabbed, like, that last time. Like, she was about to call for her mom, and then Ghostface pops up, knocks her down.
Ghostface killer.
He holds the knife up, and then it's like this prolonged moment where he has it up, and you think maybe the parents are going to come out, maybe they're going to scare him off, and he runs off, and she'll be fine, because she is the main person on the theater. But nope, then he brings it down, and he brings it down, and he brings it down, and then he's dragging her away, and then she's in a tree, and then it's like, all right, I don't know what we're expecting, come this movie now. Like, who are we supposed to attach to now? It's just Drew Barrymore is not here, so...
Oh, and then we get Nev Campbell.
And then immediately that is answered by, Nev Campbell is here.
Campbell. Oh, okay. Now, and this is when we get Nev Campbell and, a.k.a. Anna Faris, if you're comparing it to Scary Movie. She's doing her thing, some homework. And then, of course, the ever so creepy Steve. Billy.
Good old Skeet
Ulrich. Looking like the killer.
Looking like he was just coming from killing someone because he probably
did, He has that weird, like, I thought at the time Skeet Ulrich was like a super, 99-cent Johnny Depp. Like, he had that vibe,
Oh, man.
I'd be like, hey, Johnny, Skeet was cool. He did Chill Factor. He did,
Chill Factor? The ice cream movie?
Yeah, him and Cuba
Ice cream truck movie?
Yeah.
Awesome.
It was cool.
Let's not bring that up.
But I always thought he was like, I feel like they got him because they just couldn't get Johnny Depp. He refused.
Well, he made a good creepy dude.
Yeah, I mean, you thought he was a killer the whole time. I know I did.
If he wasn't a killer, he was definitely a rapist. I definitely felt like if it wasn't a killer situation, Sydney was going to get raped eventually.
A very experienced rapist. Like, thank you, sir. I'm so glad your expertise paid off.
Yeah.
So we get that monologue from Billy where he's like comparing the pretty
Exorcist.
This is
like, I was watching Exorcist and I thought about you. Like, wait, what? Like, what are you talking about here?
He's asking for sex via via movie rating.
Oh yeah, the whole thing with an R rating or PG-13 rating. Yeah, right. That whole thing was very weird. That's very WB show talk.
It was super Dawson's Creek.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, Kevin Williamson, I think. The one who wrote this, and I believe he was a writer for Dawson's Creek, which makes sense now.
Totally.
Yeah, with all of the movie talk, PG-13 relationship.
All it was missing was the...
That's why I was thinking Scary Movie. When they were kissing on the bed, I was thinking of James Vanderbeek's going to pop up and then be like, wrong set. And then go
wrong set.
And then leave.
And that's one of my notes too. It says it's so hard to watch the movie and not think Scary Movie. Especially at this last part, because once they had the little make-out session, and then he goes back out the window, looking like a creep.
Yep.
And she hits him with the, hey, would you set up for PG-13? He goes, what's that? He sees her tits. I see the hairy chest for Scary Movie.
Scary Movie.
Damn you, Scary Movie. I cannot wait to do that one. You have to come back for Scary Movie. You have to come back for Scary Movie. 4 years away.
It's like, I think after legit, that was 2000 when it came out.
2000 definitely. So we got a while, but I'm sure we'll still be in business. The next scene, the school's all at a chaos because of everybody found out that the murder of Carmen Electra happened last night, and
her boyfriend Prince,
So we get Matthew Lillard, we get Jamie Kennedy, we get Rose McGowan, Nev Campbell. We get our initial crew for this movie.
Yep. Good old Skeet.
Still
being very rapey.
Looking like a creep. And the more you rewatch the actual scene, Matthew Lillard's Stu, he looked like a damn creep too. Always was a creep.
Yep.
Especially once we know he's one of the killers. Like, all right, so listen.
It all makes sense.
I'm going to be extremely cartoony now. Watch me do this.
Yeah, it was very chock full of camp. It's very campy, very corny.
Chock full of cheat.
All over the place.
Just chock full of cheat.
Yeah, it's just like, man, this is too much, man. I don't get the sense that she would be hanging out with all these people. Like,
they're all a bunch of dicks. If you think
yeah, well, weirdos. Jamie Kennedy's a little weirdo. He has his. I'll discuss this later on when we get to the scene. But him going crazy in a store. Everyone's a little weird. It's a little crazy. It's a little much.
When the Jamie Kennedy character, he's talking to the crew. And he's pretty much pointing fingers and shit. And he's just being like the comic relief. He becomes fucking annoying after a while. For sure.
Oh yeah. He's a little bit much in this movie.
Absolutely. But he has some good lines though, for sure. And did you put a liver in the mailbox? I heard you put a liver in the mailbox and all that shit. That was getting fucking annoying.
There was a really odd scene where they were like just kind of questioning the kids at school about Drew Barrymore's character.
You're right. We get our first appearance of
the principal, the Fonz, who's
Fonz.
Also very creepy because he does this very weird, like, he holds her by the chin or whatever, like, kind of like a parent or something, or a romantic lover would do, and it was very creepy.
I was waiting for him to say, "Hey, it's me. Hey. Have a seat. And mom's dead or what?"
So that was a little odd, but I don't think that was really necessary. There was just so many scenes with him just kind of being established, like being this weird dude. And I think that's one of the things with the movie is that it was trying to play this, like, who is the killer? So they were, like, kind of throwing, like, all these red herrings out there, and the principal was one of them. So I think that's probably why the scene was there. Mm-hmm. But it was just kind of like, we can go without this. We can go without the principal, like, period, I think.
Okay, so at this time, do we already learn about Cotton Weary?
I think, does she go home? She goes home, and I think she turns on the TV, and of course, as these movies do, it's always on the news, and at the exact same moment,
going through.
It's like, hey, here's a news story on this chick's mother, and then, of course, we learn of Cotton Weary and his tryst with her mom, which led to the apparent rape and murder of Sydney's mother a year ago.
Now, is it me? It's something about the name Cotton Weary. First of all, I thought Cotton Weary was his last name. I thought it was like Jake Cotton Weary or some shit. So it wasn't until years later. Oh, his actual name is first name Cotton, last name Weary. Who the fuck wrote that?
Listen, Cotton's pretty.
No, it's not. Takeaways, I'm looking forward to later on. That could actually be somewhere in Takeaways.
It's a cool name,
but
it's different.
Like Cotton Weary. All right, so the killer calls Sydney. She answers the phone. Hello, Sydney. We pretty much suggest that she's gonna be a bit of a smart ass to the killer. She's not really thinking. She's thinking it's Randy. Pretty much on his phone talking shit.
And there was at one point he said he's at the front porch, I think, and like a smart person, she went outside to the front porch, which is normally what you do when a creepy person tells you to go out to the front porch, or they say that they're at the front porch, and then they, of course, open the door, go out to check. And she comes back in, and I believe there's a little bit more banter before he pops up, and then tries to kill her. I'm guessing. I don't know. That part was a little weird for me. It's like, because if the point of like killing all these people and then doing the big reveal at the end, you know, I'm jumping ahead, but like, if the point is to do all that and do the reveal at the end and tell her all this stuff, why are you trying to kill her now? Like that kind of doesn't make sense.
She kind of already knows what's what, so
yeah, it's just kind of odd that like I don't know if it's maybe just trying to mess with her and to get in her head,
you know, kind of get her riled up.
Yeah, like, because then if you kill her now, then like your whole plan. Well, that's coming later, so I'll talk about that later.
But when she runs upstairs, by the time the killer, we now know the ghost face is in her apartment, in the house. This is a 2-bedroom house, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe it was the 2-bedroom.
Okay, so by the time she gets upstairs, fucking Billy is already at the window. So here's my thing. Did he have a ladder outside, kind of on cue?
Well, he the previous night, he climbed up the ladder to get to her room. So, this is like Clarissa Explains It All, where you just have a ladder on the top by the window.
It's just there.
Yeah, pretty much. At all points, at all times. Yes.
So he comes to her, oh my God, Billy the killer's, and right on cue.
Fucking cell phone pops out. Which is weird, because I guess in the 90s, no one owned cell phones. Kids weren't allowed to own cell phones, because I know later, like, the next scene at the police station, the officer is asking, why do you have a cell phone? Like,
I didn't realize it was illegal to not have
a cell phone. Exactly. Like, maybe I wanted to make some calls. Maybe because I'm a human being.
I kind of want to
who needs to make
contact with other human beings.
Yes, exactly. So maybe that was just a rule, an unwritten rule.
So based off the fact that he has a cell phone, he's arrested.
Yeah. She runs downstairs. Mm-hmm. She runs away and runs smack dab into Dewey, good old Dewey, who's holding the Ghostface Killer mask.
Once again, I'm thinking Doofy from Scary Movie.
Yes.
Yep. Sure am. When Billy's outside getting cuffed. And I noticed certain shit, with old movies like that we grew up on, because it was an odd way of saying that. He was in the car and goes, Sydney! Yeah.
Yeah, a little odd. Like, he's a killer. Like,
you're a fucking killer, man. At this point, I'm like, hey, fuck Sydney, man, for real. Like, I ain't do that shit. But then we get Gail's thirsty ass.
Yeah.
He pops up right after the whole thing goes down, which we didn't even talk about her with her first appearance, but it didn't matter. Gail's here now, and she's fucking thirsty. Courtney Cox.
Thirst is real.
The thirst is super real. Oh my god! That
trying to get that story.
Bright red ass fucking. It treats her cameraman like shit.
Oh yeah, man.
Oh my god! So now we're at the police station. Mind you, Billy's getting interrogated, like you said, talking about
why do you have a cell phone?
Because I don't know, maybe because it's fucking 1996.
Maybe cell phones came out. I want to own one.
I kind of want to own one.
I want to talk to people.
And where you been? Da, da, da. But no matter how much you try to make it seem like he has an alibi, the way he looks at Sydney, like he gives her the bitch, I should have killed you when I saw you look. So she's sitting there. They're looking for Sydney's dad at the moment.
Now we can't find Sydney's dad.
Right now. And so she's sitting there, and they're about to cuff him, take him away anyway. He's still calling Sydney. Just talk to me, Sydney.
Come on, Sydney.
Get your nutty ass home.
Go directly to jail.
Not collect $200. That's when Dewey shows up, and Tatum, they're going to take Sydney back to their place.
Go out the back door. Here comes Gail.
Here comes Gail and her thirst.
And the thirst. Asking questions. She gets punched.
Was it the next day at school? Or was it like...
Same night.
Same night.
Because she gets another call.
So, before that other call, there was another question that a reporter had asked her. And she said... how does it feel to almost be brutally murdered? That's what you lead with?
I feel like in journalism school class, I'm hoping that there's some sort of sensitivity training. Maybe, I'm not sure.
You almost raped. How's it feel?
Some chick and some dude was murdered the other night. You almost got murdered too. How do you feel? We need to know. Okay.
Is it affecting you deeply?
Are you going to be able to go back to your house where you're almost murdered? Tell us now.
Let's not forget, it's coming up on a year when your mom had the same shit happen to her. Don't forget.
How's that making you feel too?
Yep.
You want to slit your wrist now?
Pretty fucked up, right? All right, so the killer calls again now. They're at Tatum and Dewey's house, Dewey's mom's house.
Yes.
Killer calls again. And another scene that is so hard to get through because of fucking scary movie. That fucking vacuum cleaner. All right.
But that was actually kind of funny too, because like she's upset and then they shoo her away and then he picks up the phone and he's like, hello? like Dewey's goofy, but Dewey is, I love Dewey. Dewey is very, very awesome.
mean, he got through it, He got through it. But so the next day at school, obviously Sydney is not 100%.
Not at all.
Something's up. Of course, guess who's free? Good old Billy Gumdrop.
She runs right into him.
And once again, looking like a creep.
Yep.
Looking like a killer.
And then making these terrible analogies about her needing to get over her mother's brutal murder because it was a year ago. And basically he's in the same situation because his mom left. His mom left.
Like, Billy, that's nowhere near the same, man. Is your mom still breathing?
Yeah.
Mom's gone, man.
She's dead and gone. Dead and gone.
Dead and gone.
Hey. So, yeah, he makes this boneheaded analogy, and then she runs off again, and more Sydney from him. She runs right into the bathroom.
Oh my god!
And this wonderful, wonderful scene,
fucking scene,
the bathroom where she runs in, and then there's nothing going on, and then 10 seconds later, a conversation resumes from the stalls.
Exactly about
where
her.
These two chicks are talking the maddest of shit about her. Basically saying that she's crazy and that she's probably doing all this stuff herself.
And then they have an analogy which they picked up from Ricky Lake by saying that at this age, they'd rather commit homicide than commit suicide. Who the fuck came up with that?
Ricky Lake. Maybe. I don't know. Like, those two teams were like, just the way they were conducting, just how they were. It was like a lot. It was too much. It was like, I get trying to, like, you know, to raise drama and make her, I guess, I don't know, feel bad or whatever, but they were chewing that scenery. Like, it was too much.
But, you know, in the same scene, it's funny because in the same scene, like, you feel bad for Cindy because they're in there just talking the biggest of shits about her. But then, obviously, I'm going to assume through a stall of some sorts or through a AC vent or some sort, the killer's in there with her.
And you know what? It's funny because, like, there's no way that he got there. Like, I'm pretty sure he's not climbing through any vents. So
I'm sure
he had been in that bathroom the whole time, just waiting, just at the possibility that she would come into that specific bathroom. Either that, or he slipped in.
Whoever goes in there, it's fucked.
Yeah, like, I have no idea. Like, he had that slipped in, like, right after those two girls had left and before she came out of the stall. Mm-hmm. But, of course, you don't hear anything, but I don't know. It's movie magic. Maybe he just teleported there. I don't know.
You never know. But when he tries, she does this really cool
slide right underneath.
Out of there. Can't get me. I'm out of there.
You know, him being in there was pretty absurd, but the scene was actually pretty cool because you see the boot come down, the second boot come down, and then you see the robe drop down
at the very bottom.
It's pretty. It's actually just kudos to that because that was a pretty cool scene. It's like, oh no, oh man. And then the door comes open, he comes flying out, and then she just baseball slides right underneath him, and she's out there. The teacher outside, like, what in the world is happening right now?
So what did the killer do? Did he go back to the vent?
That was just it. We see her go out. She runs out of the bathroom, and then it goes to the next scene. So I'm gonna guess that he jumped out a window or disappeared. Or just took his stuff off and then left out of the ladies' bathroom like it wasn't anyone's business.
I just got lucky.
Yeah.
The next scene is at this moment now, the principal has pretty much declared the curfew.
The curfew on the school.
On the school.
Yes.
And practically on the town.
Yeah.
So I didn't know high school principals had that kind of push.
They got a lot of power, man.
So that was a mayor
no
thing.
One knows
That's
that. No one knows.
Because effective immediately, all classes are canceled. Have your ass home at 9 o'clock. So of course, in your typical high school movie, they're all thinking, "Well, this is time to party.
Let's have a party. Hey, all of our friends are being murdered. Let's party.
Let's
do it."
Real quick, side note: there's no black people in Greensboro, in Woodsboro at all. I just want to point that out real quick.
There are no black folks in Woodsboro
at the school, even outside during the actual, like, there's no black people in Woodsboro.
Good observation.
Yeah.
There are none there.
I just figured I just throw that out there real quick. So they're at this party. They're at the party. It's pretty much maybe 20 people there or so, and they're watching what's it, Halloween?
Yeah, he puts on Halloween.
Yeah.
Well, before that, we get there's a bunch of random scenes of Sydney and Tatum just kind of running around doing stuff with the killer kind of lurking about, like, in the background. Like, one point they're in a store, and then you see the reflection of the killer, like, walking around the freezer aisle. And there's no way that dude's walking around in broad daylight in a store with this whole get-up on, just kind of lurking around like, hey, guys.
So nobody can see him.
No one saw him at all, exactly. And then there was this one other scene that just kind of it irks me, is at the video store where Matthew Lillard's Stu is there with Jamie Kennedy.
And he has his... the Randy monologue inside of Blockbuster.
Yes, inside of the video store, and
everybody's
like he's going absolutely insane. It's like, one, why is this guy not fired?
Right.
Two, stop. Three, why is he not fired?
Like, Randy, really, what are you doing, man?
Really, what
are you doing, man?
Take your 10, take your 10, man. Just get out of here. Go take your 10, man.
I'm gonna totally write him up when he comes back.
And he's basically talking about how he thinks Billy is the killer, and it's probably Billy. And then next thing you know, Billy pops up on him, and him and Stu are pretty much kind of like, bitching him out and whatnot, and then you get your first. It's like, maybe these two are the killers, man. Like Billy's definitely the killer, and and I think about around that time, no one really thought that maybe there was two killers or whatever. So we're just like, all right, it's Billy, it's definitely Billy, but maybe it's not. Who knows?
Well, you know what? It's something about that scene. Like, no matter what, Billy's always going to be the fucking killer.
Yes.
But with Stu, Matthew Lillard, I think, is probably one of his best performances, only because he was able to, give you that killer look, that killer vibe. He's also a fucking goofball. So at times when he's, being silly, like, maybe he's not, maybe he's just a goofy dude. But then every time Billy shows up, he gets hella cartoony, which means I believe he's the killer as well.
Maybe.
And of course, later on in the movie, we now figure out why he's so damn cartoony.
And then I think before it jumps to the party, we go back to the school, and for whatever reason, the most unnecessary death in the movie, the principal being killed. Mm-hmm. What purpose does him being killed off serve? It really doesn't. I don't think it serves any sort of purpose.
Maybe the killer, Billy, knew. Maybe he knew that if he killed the principal and did what he did with the principal, it would draw the dumbass kids of Woodsboro High over there to get everybody out of that.
That's a hell of a gamble, though. Because what if, later on in the scene, because Randy, he gets the phone call from I don't know who called him and was like, I gotta call up Randy and let him know the principal's been killed. So he gets the phone call and he's like, hey, listen up. Principal's been killed.
Too far.
Okay, We'll go back to it.
Okay. Once again, Billy shows up acting like the killer.
Yep.
And
Sydney's like, you know what? I'm gonna give it up. He's been pressuring me, and as most women should do, when your boyfriends pressure you, you should give it up.
No, wait a second. Now, before we get to that horrible fucking scene, at this time, so the police now have to drop on Sadie's dad.
Yes.
For some reason, they have not pieced together that Sadie's dad is possibly our killer.
Because I think they traced the calls, and it was coming from his cell phone.
And it goes from his cell phone, and they're thinking
it's him.
It's him because of the year of the wife's death.
And they can't find him. He hasn't checked in to where he said he was leaving, and he was going to be at the hotel. They checked the hotel. He's not there. So, and then the calls are from him. It's got to be the dad.
It's got to be the dad. So they think they got the drop on Pop. Those are my notes. So this is when Gail's sneaky ass finds way to this party thanks to doofy ass Dewey.
Hey,
and
thirst is real. Once
again, thirst is real.
On both ends.
She managed to get inside the party with Dewey and plants a fucking camera inside of the party to see what's going on.
And you know what? That camera gimmick was. I loved it a lot, actually. Like, just rewatching it the other day, the time delay thing was a brilliant little touch to the movie. For later on, because like they kept showing the delay and what's actually happening into what the guy inside the van is seeing and stuff like that. And it pays off later on. We'll get to it, but it was just like a brilliant little gimmick that they threw in there. I liked it
because at first when she actually plants the camera, it's like. So nobody sees her this big ass camera on the man's TV set?
No.
It's like, okay, so...
There's a bunch of teens drinking.
They're not giving a shit.
No one cares.
And that's when we get the next death. We get Tatum's death.
Tatum's death, yes.
Yeah.
Probably the most idiotic of them all.
She goes outside to get more brew.
And you know why? Not to cut you off, but this death doesn't make any sense. And not because of how she died, but... Because this is a party, and there is no one in the garage. There's no one in the room that's...
The front yard.
There's no one around. Nope. Everyone's in one room in this party, apparently. And no one's around to see her. I've never been to... And admittedly, I've not been to a lot of parties, but to the parties I've been to, there is no everyone occupying the party is not in just one place.
No.
You got people in the living room, you got people in the kitchen, you got people in the dining room, people in the garage, people in the backyard, side yard, parking lot. Like, there's people all over the place. There's no reason this girl was murdered and no one knew about it. Well, but
maybe it's the way they party in Woodsboro, because apparently I've never been to a party to where, all right, so we're gonna have this cool little shindig. We're gonna dance. We're gonna drink, whatnot. But toward the cool down hour, if there's ever such a thing, we're gonna watch Halloween and just kind of just hang out.
Okay, guys, cool down time. What movie you want to put on?
Cut the music. Cool down time. All right, so I got Halloween. Yeah,
all right,
let's do it.
Yeah. It's not even in this movie.
Not even, she's a virgin. And then he tells you, if you look for Jamie Lee Tit, don't look for it, because she doesn't show up to trading places. So
she's in the garage.
So she's in the garage. She's getting her brew. Obviously, the killer's there, and she goes, "This is the part where I'm supposed to die," or some stupid shit. And he,
like, "Oh, you want to play psycho killer? Can I be helpless victim?" He's like, "Yeah,
yeah, you sure can.
Yeah, you can."
Right. Mm-hmm. So obviously,
things get serious real quick,
because he pretty much
cuts her skin, slice her arm. Yep. Like, how you think about that? What do you think about that?
I'm not fucking with you. I'm here to kill you.
And that kind of shows the stupidity of this character, because there's a killer running around. You know what the character is dressed like. And I know, admittedly, you probably think, all right, it's a bunch of drunk guys. Maybe someone's playing a prank. Mm. But at the same time, as soon as this dude show up, maybe you should be leaving. Maybe be a little bit more cautious than being like, oh, this is definitely Stu or Randy playing a trick on me.
Right.
Nah, this may very well be a killer.
So during this little fight with the killer, right, a flip occurs.
Was it from the door?
It's from the door.
Was it from the freezer door?
Yeah. Yep. She throws the freezer door, the flip, he takes it.
As if he just got clothesline.
Yep.
Out of his boots.
Like you didn't see her going for the door. But never mind the door.
The Ghostface killer is probably the most clumsiest of all horror movie killers.
Of all.
Because they're always getting knocked around somehow.
Slipping. Even when she throws the brew at him, she goes, ow! Ow! So they're fighting. Did she get stabbed before she attempted the doggy door?
I don't think she got stabbed. Wait, no. I don't think so.
No, I don't think it's with it.
I think it was just an arm slice. I want to say.
And then she goes for the doggy door.
She goes for the doggy door.
And
it's
bright idea goes, you know what? Let me go ahead and raise it. Now, here's the thing.
I'm not even going to dirty my knife. I'm just going to use this here.
Here's the thing. In this day and age, we've seen electric garage door openers.
Yes.
We see what they run off of. Mm-hmm. Did you ever think it would claim a human life the way it did?
I'm pretty sure that there are they have weight limits. I'm pretty sure.
I'm quite sure
if there is some weight on it, there's a human body on the door. I'm pretty sure it's not going to function right. I don't think it's going to continue to go up.
Tatum has to be made about $130 wet.
I wouldn't even say that.
But, okay, maybe $120.
Maybe $120, $115.
$115. But I know that $115.
That's still.
No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that door.
That motor couldn't sustain that $115.
But someone was like, "Yo, this would be a cool death," and it was. It sucks, sucks for her, neck right into the, the roof or whatever. Yeah. It's a pretty terrible way to go, but you got to kind of throw realism aside because it's a movie, so it's whatever.
Wes Craven.
Yep.
So now we get Billy showing up at the door. Where
we got old Billy
looking like the damn killer.
At the very least, a rapist.
Him and Sid, they're getting their oogle eyes. She wants to talk. He wants to talk. At this moment, Randy still thinks he has a shot. Sorry, sir, you don't.
Never did.
Never did, actually. And Stu's kind of playing his part. So they go upstairs. They go upstairs to this room. And when they're talking about, the situation, and this is once again another Dawson Creek setup.
Yes.
Because Sydney literally asks him, she wants to do something more like porno. Like,
no.
The actual line was, I was thinking more like porno. Yes, because as they're kissing and making up, and they're talking that PG-13 rated R shit, Sid goes, I was thinking more like porno.
Oh, man.
I'm like, was that really the fucking line?
Oh, man. Oh,
and then we get that, the horror, cliche sex scene.
Yes.
That takes forever to get through.
There was like so much going on downstairs, and it kept going back up. And, oh, you know what? Because it was showing kind of like the, I think it was showing, it was like the gratuitous sex scene on Halloween.
Right.
It's like, all right, here comes the gratuitous sex scene, and then it's like it was intercutting with the movie, and then with what was going on upstairs.
Because that's when we get that's when we get Randy explaining the actual rules. Because Stu made him actually explain the rules.
Because he didn't know you don't know the rules.
No,
I gotta pause the whole movie right now and get up in front of everybody and explain them.
There are certain rules in order to survive a horror movie. Rule number 1: no sex.
No sex. Oh!
No drinking, no drugs. And never say, I'll be right back, which of course Stu hit you
Stu's
with.
like, yo, I'm gonna go get some beer. You want one?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, man, sure, whatever. I'll be back. Oh! Now he's gonna die.
Look at that man. So, that's when they get the phone call saying that's the principal.
The principal has been murdered.
And
I don't know who called Randy.
Who
Dude
called?
was like, I gotta call Jaw, man. I gotta call Randy right now.
The funny thing is, like, this is Stu's house. So, who knows that Randy's at Stu's house?
Look, maybe they were calling Stu's house and they're like, look, I just need to call somebody, and someone needs to hear this information of the killer getting the principal.
He says, hello? Yeah. So he's like, hello, Stu? Yeah. Like, hey, Stu there?
No.
Yeah.
I'm here though.
This is ready? Hey, what up, ready? Yeah.
Guess what, man?
Guess what? They fucking found the principal, man.
Is dead. So he's like, yo, listen up, everybody. Principal's been dead. He was hanging from the goalpost. And then, of course, like people would do in real life, let's get over there to look at this dead body. Why?
Before they take him down, and then they look so happy, get ready to go.
Yeah, like, oh my god, that's a dead body. Like, wow.
It's like,
let's go look at it.
If we was at a party and we got called that our principal was found dead, I don't really want to go see it.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, that's kind of a bummer.
I kind of like him.
Yeah, like, oh geez. Even if they weren't such a good person, that's still a human life that's been lost. I want to go
in a very violent, disgusting way.
And it's just being displayed. Like, I don't want to go look at that. Why is the body still up? Why does a kid have the time to go and call someone and tell them that there's a body hanging up and the police have not taken care of that yet?
Now, before I get to this next part, because this is the part that I truly despise.
Yeah.
Okay. So earlier in the movie, Dewey meets up with Gail, right? Mind you, Gail is thirsty.
Oh, yes.
She puts Kenny in all kinds of danger and leaves Kenny there so she can go take a little stroll with Dewey.
Yeah. Well, because he found, they got radioed in that a car was found.
Right. Right. Now, before we get to the actual car, there's a part in this moment where they're walking and Dewey hits you with that, you're not scared, are you? Kind of trying to make us believe it could be Dewey.
It's one of those moments again where they're trying to like throw some more red herrings out there. Like, oh, is it him? Is it him? Because it's obvious it's Billy. So we need to make everybody a suspect because we need to draw this fire.
If there was ever somebody I question the absolute least, it's Dewey. This scene, which I do love this part because right on cue, you get the 2 cars full of the high school fools. Can't wait to go see this dead body.
Yeah. And they're walking on the street.
And they're gunning down the street. And the first thing that Dewey's going to do is, hey, slow down.
So, hey guys.
Freeze.
They're going really fast. Hey, he says freeze. He tells them to freeze. They are in a car going 75 miles an hour at them. There's no way they're hearing these instructions. Tumble off the road and on top of each other because, of course,
it's the movie.
Yeah.
That's what we got to do to really sustain some stuff.
Also, these kids are about to, like, I'm pretty sure they saw these two bodies in the street. They were just going to run them over. I don't think they were going to stop at all.
I mean, if everybody else is out here dying, ain't what's the cop and shit. Hey.
Killer did it.
Killer did it.
But so, they go to check out the car.
Check out the car.
It's Sydney's dad, basically confirming to them, at least, that it's Sydney's dad. He's the killer. He's still in town. He's running around killing folks. Got to get back.
So, meanwhile... Back at the house,
they're finishing up their sex session.
They just cleaned up and whatnot, and this is where Sydney starts piecing some shit together.
You should probably ask those questions before you have the sex, but you know,
I mean, no judging. Hey, whatever. I'm just saying. You know, I mean, he still got some.
You still have, if you're still questioning whether your boyfriend's a killer and you're still giving them sex, maybe.
I don't think it's that big a deal to you if you still gave him sex.
Maybe, yeah. At this point, why are you questioning it?
You know what I'm saying? And even when she's sitting there piecing shit together, and he's still looking like a killer, so why are you asking? Because you sound fucking creepy.
You always sound creepy. This whole movie, you've sounded nothing but creepy.
I love this part because it's another little soundbite I didn't even catch until I had to watch it for like the third or fourth time. I know he says it too. So when he's trying to be like, Sydney, I'm not the killer.
What do I have to do?
What do I have to do? And in comes
I'm not a killer.
Fucking Ghostface now, stabbing up Billy. And which Billy looks at himself and then turns around and looks back at Sid like, see? See, Sid?
I just got killed. I'm not the killer.
Right in front of you. This is real blood, right? No. Oh, I'm dead.
No holes in the shirt. Just lots of red on the shirt. Nothing else.
Okay. So I guess, okay. All right. You know, we're trying to figure this whole thing out. And so really outside now, Kenny,
no, she's getting chased. She's getting chased throughout the house. She gets chased throughout the house by the killer. She ends up falling off of the roof onto a conveniently placed boat to save her life. And then she discovers Tatum's body just hanging there still. And then she runs to Kenny and the van. And that's where we go to the actually very brilliant scene of you see Ghostface. He's creeping throughout the house and he sees Randy there. And it's a pretty funny scene, too, because he's sitting there talking to Jamie Lee Curtis, and he's saying, look, Jamie, look behind you.
Well,
and it's funny. And it's funny because it's Jamie Kennedy saying, Jamie, look behind you, and there's a killer, like, literally behind him. So that's a pretty funny scene, actually. And then so they're looking at the video feed, and they're like, oh, man, this kid's about to get killed. Oh, no. And then he pops out of the van, and then it hits him like, wait a minute.
It's a 30-second delay.
This is a delay. And then he goes back to the video and sees that the killer like leaves him alone and goes outside. That moment, he should have jumped into the van, closed the door, and drove off. But instead, he turns back around outside, throat slashed immediately.
Kenny! Damn it!
And Kenny is dead.
So,
those bastards.
This is also around the time when Gail manages to get back to the van because she knows some shit's getting ready to go down. Or currently going down. Taking place.
Yep.
She just said, well, sorry, Kenny. You on your own, brother, man. So she sees the van, gets in the van, takes off. She's driving all shitty, and then, correction, even before she takes off, she sees Randy comes up to the van.
Yeah, and he's like, "What's happening?" or whatever. And then she just like, "Get out of here!"
Like, nope, don't care. I'm out. So she's driving all frantic. She sees the blood. Like, oh, there's blood there. And then as she's driving, I think she hits the brake. Kenny's body right there. And she, oh shit!
Oh no!
Oh man! There's Kenny's dead body.
She drives off the road.
And she gets to the tree
and hits a tree dead on, and you think, well, okay, maybe that's it for her. Maybe who knows? And then we go back to Sydney, who's is not running for whatever reason, not running down the road into safety, but she's going back to the house. She's still roaming around the house, and then we get Randy and Stu popping up, and they're just like, oh man, he's the killer.
He's the killer. He's the killer.
And she's like, nah, forget all of you guys. I'm getting back in the house. She goes in the house, closes the door, And then guess who comes stumbling down the stairs? It's creepy old Billy, who's miraculously still alive despite all that red stuff and no holes on his shirt. So
give me the gun. Give me the gun.
And she has a gun, but of course, or I know because we keep forgetting things. There's a part where Dewey comes stumbling out of the house. And then he falls down. Turns out there's a knife in his back. So
right, yep, you're right. Dewey gets stabbed. You're right.
Think Dewey's dead. And
right.
I think that's where she gets the gun from him.
Right.
So now fast forward back to Billy coming down the stairs. He tells her to give him the gun for whatever reason. And then she gives him the gun. And then Randy pops up in the house
saying Stu's gone mad.
Stu's gone mad.
Which we get the iconic line.
Awesome line. Everybody go mad sometimes.
What the fuck?
What? Shoots him in the shoulder. That must have been some kick that bullet had because it sent him off his feet and through a table. So finally, we finally get the confirmation that we've been waiting for since he popped up from the very beginning. Billy is the killer. Mm-hmm. So like she tries to run away from him, runs smack dab into Stu. Oh, help me, man. No, he pulls out the voice changer. Surprise, Sydney. Oh, my God.
Oh, no.
There are
so now we know that there's also Stu in there now.
Stu
Not
is
quite
also...
a shock. And then, of course, this is around the time when now Stu is now cartoon Stu now.
Oh, yeah. He has gone full tilt into Looney Bin. Shout out to Looney Bin.
Wait! There's more!
Yeah, man. It's just screaming and slobbering all over the place. And then we get basically the rundown of as to why these two have teamed up and become killers. Basically, Sydney's mom was a whore, a hoskie. And she was kind of slinging her thing around town, including with Billy's dad, which Billy's mom found out, and Billy's mom ended up leaving to go do Roseanne. And then and then so they were like, hey, let's be crazy, let's team up, let's kill her, and let's pin it on this random guy that she's also messing around with. And
they wanted to keep it to the year of, especially when is the clock is about to strike midnight, making it an official year.
A year
since
they killed her.
They killed her mom. So the plot twist obviously coming. It still felt good once it's actually revealed, and they're gonna blame it on the dad. We now know where the dad is. He's all bleeding, fucked up.
Yep, they pretty much like nah, you ain't going anywhere. They kept him locked up for the last 2-3 days, however long the movie was going.
And then, of course, in every horror movie cliche, they're gonna pretty much tell you their plan.
They're gonna tell you every single thing instead of just kill you and let that plan ride out. They're going to tell you exactly everything that's going to happen.
So we now watch them stab each other, which is once again hard to watch.
This part doesn't make it's very hard to watch. But what doesn't make sense about this is why wouldn't they wait till after everything's done to go ahead and start stabbing each other up?
Yeah,
like why is it like, all right, let's do it now? Oh man, we're all stabbed up and weak, possibly dying. Okay, cool. Now let's kill these guys.
But this is when we get like probably one of the funniest lines, which is movies don't create psychos; they make them more creative.
Creative, yeah. And you know what? It kind of, because like that whole plan, as convoluted as it is, it's like, hey, it was pretty, I guess, creative plan. I think a lot of these times in horror movies, like you'll have these. Especially in the slasher ones where it's like the whodunit ones where it's like it could be anybody. Scream has been pretty good, the franchise anyways, with tying up, except for probably the third one. I think that was a little too much. They've been pretty good at like...
Have you seen the fourth one?
I've seen the fourth one. And it makes sense. It makes, like, when you think about the time period...
You know the look I'm giving you right now.
Look, man. I'm just saying, despite however it was, the reasons for the killer being the killer, it made sense because around the time... You got reality shows, you got this, you got that. This chick wanted to be famous based off of her cousin, so she was crazy to begin with. She had all this stuff happen. So the Scream franchise, I feel like, has been always, with the exception of the third one being a little too much, introducing the brother angle. They've always been pretty good at like kind of establishing a pretty decent reason, no matter how convoluted it might be. It's pretty like, okay, I can see that being a thing. I can see these two guys being like batshit crazy and doing and going through all of this and whatnot. And it seemed like it was a pretty solid plan. until they started stabbing each other up before they even finished it up. But,
So while they're stabbing each other up, Sydney manages to slip right on through there. And
because they're gonna shoot her.
Right.
And then they notice the gun's gone. Surprise, Gail Weathers is still alive. Mm-hmm. And, but she didn't notice that the safety's on. So they knock her out, get the gun back. And, of course, they're doing all of this, leaving Sydney unattended. So, of course, she's gone now. Mm-hmm. And so now she's left. And now they're running around trying to find her. Bitch this, bitch that. I'm going to find you, you bitch. And then, and Stu's got to sit down because he got stabbed, like, multiple times for whatever reason. And now he's feeling a little woozy, and he's sitting down. And then, Sydney, she starts, playing the game with them. She calls him up. You like scary movies and this and that, and she finally pops up out of the closet with the umbrella, stabs Billy twice.
As Ghostface.
Mm-hmm. It's like, all right, cool. Billy's dead. Now Stu's got he's replenished, and now he's up and at him, and now he's fighting her and whatnot, and then she's able to subdue him and then drop a whole TV on his face.
On his face, exactly.
Which is a hell of a way to go. And you know what? I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up the fact when they were trying to look for her, and they were on the phone, and she calls, and then Stu's like he's flipping out. He's like, "Man, you called the police? You called the police on us?
Like, you fucking
my mom and dad's gonna be so bad." Like, you know what? It kind of makes it like. His behavior throughout the movie now makes sense because he is literally crazy.
Yeah.
It all makes... Right. You know what? It's kind of forgivable now because, like, you see him at the end where he's doing... Like, this guy's crazy. He had the nerve, the gumption to do all this, to kill all these people, and now at the mention of her calling the police, he's upset. He's like, oh no, my mom and dad's going... Man, I'm going to be in so much trouble. I'm going to be on punishment. Like... Okay, this guy's very crazy. So this makes sense now.
So he gets his TV dumped on his head.
TV is dumped on his face.
And we get back to a dead Billy. Randy's back.
Wait, Billy's not dead. He pops right back up.
Right. Well,
he pops back up.
We think it's a dead Billy.
Dead Billy.
So he's laid out there, and then we get Randy's back. We get Gail, who's made his mix through.
Well, no, it's not yet because he's fighting Sydney. Sydney is trying to, fight him off, but... not working pretty much, and then he has a knife and he's gonna stab her. Then Gail pops back up, shoots him with the gun. So now we think, okay, Billy's done. Randy pops back up for a nice little jump scare, and then we get the whole be careful. This is the part in the movie
where he comes back for
one last scare, and and
she goes in your dreams. Or not my movie.
Not my movie. Shot in the head. Billy's dead. The end.
The end. Now that's the movie right there.
And Dewey's alive.
And of course, Dewey makes it through as well.
Yeah, the police are there, and then it turns out Dewey's still alive and kicking.
Because Scream 2 is coming a year later.
Yeah.
Okay, so with the actual death of the final death of Billy, it's like, well, just fucking kill him already, Jesus Christ. But that last scene, where Randy says, be careful. This is when they come back for one last score, and Billy literally looks at us. Not in my movie.
And you know what? That's the thing. It's cool because like the whole movie is basically a parody of horror movie cliches
while being a
horror movie. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so. It's acceptable because a lot of the stuff that's going on, because like earlier in the movie, Sydney mentions how the bimbos or whatever in horror movies, they're running upstairs when they should be running out the door, and then that immediately happens when she gets chased in the granted, the door was locked and she was fumbling when she couldn't get it, but it was basically like, oh, look at this, now she's in the situation where she should be going out the front door, she's going up the stairs now, and that's basically that's why it's kind of acceptable. It's fun because it's a fun movie, and it's like, hey, this is where they come back. And sure enough, it comes back. And then he's immediately dealt with, so it's fine.
You know that song they played at the end of the movie? Just before the credits actually take off. The super 90s.
The super 90s movie.
Super 90s mall music.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, cool.
And everything's fine now.
The killer, he's been killed.
Killer's dead. Everyone lives happily ever after until a year later.
Okay, so let's get into takeaways, man. I cannot wait to hear the awards you're giving out. All right, so let's give out some awards. Jace, who's getting your That Guy award?
That guy, and
That
bear
guy.
with me, is Dewey. Dewey.
Please elaborate.
Dewey is essentially like kind of like I want to say like for me he's the heart of the film. Like he's not like the village idiot. He's not like super like dumb. He's just very kind of kind-hearted and gullible. And he has some legit like kind of like funny like cute moments where it's like oh that guy like he's very well-meaning and he's you know like him wanting to be protective of Sydney. It's not. It could have been borderline creepy because in most cases it's just some guy trying to get into such and such pants and make sure they're like kind of like a Randy.
Right.
But that wasn't the case at all. It was just him genuinely wanting to protect his sister's friend, his friend,
Right.
And whatnot. So I feel like he's like it probably wasn't much so in that movie, but later on he kind of is more of like an anchor to the movie, to the story, to the characters and whatnot.
I hated him throughout the movie, but that guy's gonna have to go to Billy.
Billy.
The reason why, because he is the epitome. He bleeds cliche, but we know you're the killer. But while we're going through this journey with you, pretty much looking like the killer, he gets Sydney's panties. He's able to kill multiple people, and he's still 99 cent Johnny Depp. So it's like, dude, you're obvious. Like I have to give it to Billy. Billy pretty much maintained that horror cliche throughout the movie, and still ended up pretty much on top.
Billy was close for me because as cliched as he was. I enjoyed his performance. I guess he nailed the creepy thing down and whatnot. And as crazy as it may sound, like I get the reasoning for his killing spree. I don't condone it by any chance, by any means, or any stretch of the imagination. But I get why it wasn't anything super or crazy or superficial. It was basically, yo, your mom ruined my family, you ruined my life, and now I'm going to do the same to you. It's a classic revenge kind of thing, and like I said, it's nothing that I would condone. I wouldn't necessarily go through the lens that he did. On some level, I get why he started all of this and whatnot. It's a little crazy, it's a little much, but, hey, he could have just saw a psychologist and been fine, but maybe, I don't know.
So, what about your That Chick Award?
That Chick Award was kind of hard. I was originally going to go with Gail, but upon watching the movie over, I'm going to give it to Sydney.
Okay.
Because Sydney's a good character. And I say that because, like, with that character, she's the every man or the every woman. And with that character, it's always kind of hard because you kind of have to toe the line of being in the middle, and that character can always be boring.
Right.
But there's a little bit more to her. It's not like anything super noticeable where it's like, you're like, oh man, that character is super great. But there's just enough there that brings her over from that middle, from that boring ground, that makes her very likable and
a pleasure to really watch, because she's my That Chick Award too, simply because that's our heroine.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not like, and it's kind of earned. It's not like it's just like, they threw a character there and was like, this is the heroine, this is the person you're mainly attached to, accept it.
The This Fool Award. Who's getting that glory from Jace Battle?
Hands down, Randy.
Oh, no way.
Yep, no, it's Randy. It's Randy. And it's Randy because, one, like I said, I originally thought that guy was my favorite character, and then upon watching this movie over again, that is not the case at all, because he is too much. And you would almost, I would almost give it to Stu, but like I said earlier,
Stu was definitely my fool.
It was Stu, and this is my reason I didn't give it to Stu, is because he was the killer. He was obviously crazy. He wasn't crazy on the level that Billy was, I think, like, as far as, like, his mannerisms and stuff like that, but it kind of made sense why he was just just too much, just kind of grating, but for Randy, it didn't make sense, because he's normal. He was just this dude. He wasn't the killer. So why is it that you're yelling all over the place and it was too goofy. It was too much. Like the scene in the video store it irked me. I don't know what it was about it, but it just took too much out of it. And like his facial expressions, just the way he was, it just kind of bothered me. I think in the second movie, they toned him down a lot, and I can say because I think that's where my judgment came from, because I really liked Randy in the second movie, which made me very upset when he got killed. But I think they toned him down a lot, and he was a much more enjoyable character. But in this first one, it was too much.
Yeah, I chose Stu because kind of like the reason why I chose Sydney. He's supposed to be my fool. The reason why is because he is literally, playing that goofy high school kid role. But as soon as we now, so you're not telling us he's a killer, he gets super cartoony. So we now know you're the killer. But wait, there's more!
Like Adam West, Batman villain.
You need a bam pals joint to go with it, Totally.
Gee, Sydney, this is what's happening now.
So, what are you cutting out?
I'm cutting out the, probably any and all scenes with the principal. It was just kind of a waste of time.
Kind of jarring.
It is just like, I get it. They're trying to play up all of these other people as possible suspects as to who the killer is and whatnot, and because it's obviously Billy, and we need to draw attention away from Billy. So there's other ways that probably could have been about it. There was no need for the principal to be the guy though, because there's just a scene where he's like messing around with the knife and waving it around at the students and stuff like that.
Even wearing the actual ghost face mask.
Wearing the mask and whatnot.
To scare himself.
Yeah, it's like, alright, I get what you're trying to do, but it doesn't make any sense. And then him getting killed, there was no reason for it. It's like, why kill him?
Do I know what my cut that out is?
What is it?
It's not a scene. It's a name.
It's a name.
Cotton Weary.
Why?
Listen, I don't care how many times I watch this movie. There's something about the name Cotton Weary. And then you get Liev Schreiber. Great actor, by the way. Says nothing in this movie. He just had that really, weird scowl.
Yeah, he does. Just kind of news footage and stuff.
You're very much a... Fuck the name.
We'll get you more in the second movie.
I think if I had a dog, I'd name him Cotton Weary. Yeah. But then I hate the fucker, too. I hate your name.
Why did you hate... Do you hate the name or you hate the character? You hate both?
I think it's the name. Let him on the screen 2 and 3. I dig him after a while.
Okay.
I just can't get with his name. That's just me. Anyway. And finally, your BTTC iconic movie moment. What part of this movie makes it iconic for you, if any?
Absolutely. Hands down, without shadow of a doubt, it's the opening. Is that opening of the movie. With Drew Barrymore, because it sets that tone. Like, for that time, it's easier to take for granted now, looking back at it now in 2016 going on 2017, but in 1996, when this movie came out, to have this movie heavily promoted, around a certain star, probably the biggest star in the movie, and then you kill them off, like,
in the first 3 minutes.
Yeah, not even the first, it's in the first act, but it's like, in the beginning of the first act, it's insane, and so that sets the tone. It's kind of like, you go into the movie and you're like, Drew Barrymore is going to be the final person, probably, more than likely.
Right.
And then she's dead. And it's not even just that, because the scene is just very well done, with the calling, and then how it escalates from just some guy calling to there's something off about him to, oh my god, this guy is insane. Oh my god, he is a killer. He is here in my house.
And he's trying to kill me.
Yeah, and he's trying to kill me. It's probably a bold thing to say, but I think Scream kind of kicked off horror movies being as big as they are today.
Right.
Because around that time, early to mid-90s, you had horror movies pop out, but they weren't this big thing. It wasn't until Scream came out. These horror movies are kind of like these big event kind of things. Like, now you got I Know What You Did Last Summer popopping up, and then you got, sequels to Scream, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, and then you got some not so good ones like Valentine or whatever popping up. But I think, just the success of that movie, it kind of helped, like, now it reinvigorated some stuff that wasn't that had not been dead but maybe dying, like a Halloween, which is like one of my favorite horror movies. Like, then we got H2O in '98, which was a pretty decent movie or whatever. So I think it all goes back to Scream, and it goes back to that first scene. Like, it really sets the tone and it makes the movie. So that's mine.
Me, BTTC iconic movie moment. for me. That's a tongue twister for real. The Billy reveal.
The Billy reveal.
We all go to the math sometimes. As cheesy cornball it is, super. We know it's coming, but the cinematography of the scene, the vibe of the scene, it was like, once again, we've seen it coming. We know that it's coming, but it felt good once we got there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I always look at that moment as,
and it was kind of good. It was, you know, as corny as like the scene might have been with him, the fake murder of him or whatever. But it was, I think it was cool because it was like, obviously everyone's thinking it's Billy. So then you have him like getting killed and it's like, oh crap, it's not Billy. But then it's like, oh, Billy's still alive. Oh, dang, Billy is the killer. It's kind of like, it did a good job of like, all right, it's Billy.
Like, let us,
it took us off his scent for a minute.
Let us redirect you somewhere else.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh shoot, Billy's still alive. He's not the one, obviously, because he just got stabbed up. Wait a minute, Billy is the killer. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Fuck, 20 years.
It's been 20 years already.
20 years.
That doesn't make any sense.
And now we're back 1 year later for Scream 2. Absolutely.
I absolutely love Scream 2. So, when Scream 2 comes around, let me know.
Yeah.
I love Scream 2.
This was fun.
I will give glowing reviews about Scream 2.
From BTTC, man, I want to thank you from the heart. It's been so much fun. We are totally over time right now.
Oh, yes.
But screw it. We had so much fun, man. Come back anytime. Come back anytime.
Thank you for having me. This was very fun.
Yes. Let the good people know where they can find you.
You can find me on all the social medias, Facebook, just look me up, Jace Battle. I have a page, but I also have a personal account, so be sure to add me. Twitter, you can find me at The Battle Brand. Instagram, you can find me, Jace_Battle, and also I am on Snapchat. You just look me up at Jace Battle, and I will be there as well. And you can just catch me anywhere on the West Coast right now, Las Vegas prominently, a couple of things in Arizona going on, and in California. So just be on the lookout. I look forward to seeing each and every one of you. Yes, maybe.
You're the grandfather of the...
I am the grandfather of strong style. I'm the man with superior fighting spirit. Once again, get ready. The Japanese jump man. The strong style savage. The big black man. The battle brand and the future stars of wrestling. No Limits Champion. Jace Battle. Yes, baby.
Well, you can follow me at Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter, just at I am Jay Alonzo. Once again, shout out to my co-host, Kay Williams, who is currently at home ill, but he will be back with us fresh, ready to go next week. This has been Back to the Classics. Don't forget to check out our other shows on Beat Network, such as Like Water for Chocolate. Shout out to Truth and Lex Love. Also check out The Noise with Los and Hollywood Kev. Beat Network, we're always coming back with some great, brand new stuff. Gotta love it. Once again, I'm Jay Alonzo. This is Back to Classics. Peace!